Hello, welcome back to CinemaBurger. I'm Scott Berger, and I bring you movie reviews from a different perspective. Today we're looking at the HBO Max original movie called An American Pickle. Now, it stars Seth Rogen as two characters. He plays Herschel Greenbaum, a 1920s Jewish immigrant who gets preserved in a vat of pickle brine for 100 years and wakes up in present day. Now, he also plays Ben Greenbaum, his great-grandson. Now, the movie starts out in the year 1919. We see Herschel Greenbaum. He's a ditch digger, and they make typical, old country jokes where, if you live to 30, you're amazing, and things like that. They keep showing him shoveling, and the shovel breaks, and they keep doing that joke a few times. It's not that funny. But Seth Rogen's accent is not offensive, but it's really thick, and it feels authentic, and it's believable for this Eastern European type character. And it's his accent and portrayal of this character that really sells the movie. Now, he gets married, and they show traditional Jewish customs, and they move to America, and Herschel gets a job at a pickle factory, and he ends up falling in a vat of pickles, and no one sees him fall, even though it's pretty loud. And immediately the vat gets covered, and apparently the factory gets condemned, and it gets closed. And they show a time span of 100 years, so apparently this building was not bought or redone in 100 years. But when someone goes to the building to restore it, they find that the man is alive in there. Now, there's a whole news conference, and there's scientists and reporters, and they are about to explain how he survived in the pickle brine. And as they're about to say it, Herschel starts talking and monologuing, and it's right over the part where they explain how he survived. And Herschel's like, "Oh, scientists explained it, and it was very believable and scientific," and all the reporters are like, "Oh, okay." Now, that's, in my opinion, that's just lazy writing. You could have come up with some BS explanation, and it would have been fine, but just not having any explanation at all kind of doesn't make it believable. I mean, it's not a believable premise to begin with, but at least try to come up with a reason why he lived. So that's just lazy. Now, at this point, I haven't been sold on the movie yet. It's like 20 minutes in, 15, 20 minutes. Then Herschel finds out that, of course, all his wife and children are dead because it's 100 years later, but he has a relative, a great-grandson named Ben Greenbaum, also played by Seth Rogen. Now, he looks like typical Seth Rogen's regular voice and stuff. Now, they show the two on screen, and it looks pretty good. It's hard to tell that it's an actual green screen, and they get to know each other. So Ben and Herschel start to get to know each other, and Herschel asks if Ben is a success because he came to America to have a good life for his family and future family. Now, also, they go to see the family grave plot, and it's all dilapidated and graffitied and horrible looking. And in the beginning, in the old country, they show that Russian soldiers attacked his village and killed his village. And he sees there's a billboard on the grave plot for Russian vodka. So he wants to destroy... The group was called the Cossacks. So he wants to destroy them to get revenge. Now, Ben Greenbaum is trying to design an app called Beep Boop, which shows the morality of a company that you want to buy from, whether it's the labor policies, the pay, things like that. So Herschel, of course, thinks that's dumb, and there's a lot of old versus new generation ways of thinking and clashing ideas. And like I said before, Seth Rogen's portrayal of Herschel Greenbaum is so sincere and it feels so authentic that you really start to be invested in the movie. Now, they get arrested trying to destroy the billboard, and that puts Ben's investors against him because they don't want someone to have a criminal record when they're trying to create an app that shows the ethics of companies you want to buy from. So the two get in a fight, and Herschel leaves, and he starts his own pickle company. He starts selling pickles on the street because he wants to buy cucumbers to make, but they're too expensive by 1920 standards. So he finds cucumbers in the garbage and old jars and brines them himself and starts selling them in Williamsburg. Now, throughout the movie, the theme of family plays into effect, and Ben does not like talking about his family and his past because his parents have passed away in a car accident. And Herschel wonders why he's not religious and things like that. And there's an actual mystery of like why Ben doesn't talk about family and acknowledge family a lot, and that keeps the movie going, as well as the antics of Herschel Greenbaum. So while Herschel is selling pickles on the street in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, a couple of people see him and start buying the pickles, and he quickly gains attention and notice. Now, seeing a old-timey person on the street in Williamsburg, Brooklyn is not something out of the ordinary. The movie takes advantage of, I hate to use the word, but like the hipster quirkiness of Brooklyn, which it kind of has become now, to gain popularity with Herschel's pickles. Now, Ben tries to get Herschel's cart closed because he's pissed off that his app failed because of Herschel, and Herschel had vowed to raise the money to buy the billboard to destroy it. So as Herschel is quickly gaining social media attention and popularity, Herschel tries to have the cart closed for standards and practices in like the health department and stuff like that. So he has to close his cart, but then he gets people to help him in the way of interns, and he becomes popular again. He has people make stuff for him, and he quickly gains a lot of money. Now, having a guy on the street selling pickles in this day and age may seem like a crazy notion to gain so much popularity, but then again, a kid yodeling at Walmart gained a lot of popularity and was on the Ellen DeGeneres show, so it's not that far-fetched. In fact, a lot of these things may seem kind of far-fetched, but in reality wouldn't be. Like, he gets invited on to like a talk show and interviews to find out about the real Herschel Greenbaum and his backstory, and him not understanding the future and just saying random things gets twisted around by the media, and all these stories are published and things are guessed about him or speculated. He even might run for an office in the city or something, and he's just saying whatever he feels comes to his mind, and it gets misconstrued. Now, Ben helps him set up Twitter in hopes of him getting unfamous and destroyed, but that also doesn't happen because look at the kind of things people put on Twitter nowadays as well. So, once again, things that may seem far-fetched are not actually far-fetched, which is a little scary when you think about it. Now, after he said something bad about Christians, Herschel Greenbaum is chased after and must flee the country to Canada, along with Ben, who helps him. Now, Herschel shaves his beard off and stuff to look like his great-grandson Ben, and when the police find him, it's interesting because it's Seth Rogen playing Herschel Greenbaum doing an impression of Ben Greenbaum. So it's kind of like a triple impression, and I always find those interesting because it takes a lot of, I feel like, acting ability to get in the right mindset to do an impression of an impression, and I always appreciate that in movies. So eventually, Ben reveals that his parents were very proud of him for graduating college and wanting to start this Beep Bop app, and when they died, he didn't want to fail them, and that's why he doesn't talk about his family a lot. And Herschel realizes he was too hard on Ben, and they both make up at the end, and Ben is gonna make Herschel's Pickle company a success. So, a movie with a seemingly outrageous premise has a lot of heart, and Seth Rogen playing a dual role, especially the role of Herschel Greenbaum, he plays it so sincere and genuine that you really care about the character. Now, this movie is on HBO Max, like I said before, or if I didn't, I'm saying it now. And 30 minutes in or 20 minutes in, I wouldn't have recommended this movie, but after watching it, it's about an hour and a half, I really recommend it. It's nothing super outlandish or makes you think a lot, but it has genuine heart. One of the only issues I have is that they don't actually explain how Herschel Greenbaum survived in the pickle brine for 100 years, and that's just lazy writing. I'm sorry, I'm not going to get over that. You could have come up with a reason. So, it gets some points off for that. I'd give this movie a 3.5 out of 5 burgers. I do recommend it, like I said. And it's a feel-good movie, honestly. Something to take your mind off things. Alright, I'm Scott Berger, and I'll see you next time.